Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip. Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
I'm a fire starter. And that's my goal. We have to want to get people out of their doldrum, out of their trance, to realize that we're under attack. And of all my foibles, the reason we've been successful is I do my research, I know what I'm talking about in the final equation, and I'm real, and I'm passionate, and I'm here to wake people up. You can say what you want about our 19 years on air. 17 plus syndicated. And if you talk to somebody about the New World Order out there, on average, they will say, Alex Jones is the person that woke me up or got me thinking. Even most of my detractors say that. And I would just say, judge a tree by its fruits. What have we done in the balance of our work? It's wake people up. And sometimes it's a train wreck, ladies and gentlemen. But sometimes it takes a train wreck to get people out of their comas. And the brainwaves are lowering, the IQs are lowering. People, on average, are in a highly suggestible, near trance state, medically on record. Look it up. Look it up. Just type in brainwaves lowering, Television makes people more suggestible. You'll get BBC, you'll get MIT, you'll get University of Texas, DARPA, psychology department funded programs. The system knows this because they're the authors of it. And have you ever seen children watching television? After a few minutes, they're drooling, their mouths are open. You're sitting there talking to them going, honey, 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 it's lunch, it's lunch. And like, you look at your wife and you go, we better not let them watch television. But then you still want to take them to a movie. You still want to let them watch the Olympics or whatever. And then there's all the social engineering during the commercials. It's a mind fog, and the mind fog is increasing. And so I can't get mad at people. It's just extremely frustrating, ladies and gentlemen, to be crazed for liberty and to be totally freaked out. And I want people's prayers for America, for the world, and for sanity, and for myself to have sanity. Because even in my private life over the years, I don't use a lot of profanity. I have a large vocabulary and don't need to. But I've caught myself in private being more profane. I've caught myself on air with mild stuff on air. I should be more gentlemanly to control myself, to not let, because we've all got to hold it together, folks. I mean, the missing nuke story is real. And you saw them then start firing the entire upper brass over the nukes and large swaths of the mid and low level, right down to launch officers. And then announcing, you know, nukes are going to hit the East Coast right where we said they went. I mean, that's scary, folks. I woke up at about 4 in the morning last night in the dark with the French bulldog snuggled up next to me, Captain. And I literally got up and went in the kitchen and got a glass of filtered water. And I just sat there in the dark, leaning over the kitchen sink, going, oh, my Heavenly Father, this is all real. It's all real. My wildest analysis, my gut analysis of this all along has been right on. And I am exposing people that are smuggling nukes out of Dyess Air Force Base. I'm exposing people that run child kidnapping rings worldwide. They launder $500 billion a year in drug money in the U.S. publicly in the big 6 banks, and no one gets in trouble. They own the Congress. They own most of the police. They own the FBI and the Justice Department. The Justice Department got caught shipping guns into Mexico to false flag the Second Amendment. The government got caught running al-Qaeda in Egypt and Libya and Syria. They're putting cancer viruses in vaccines, hepatitis in many of the vaccines. They're creating the new flu the year before, and it even comes out in the medical studies that they released the H1N1 a year before it came out 5 years ago. And this stuff comes out, and I've got medical doctors telling me it a year before it comes out in the news. I mean, imagine they know MSG brain damages children. They know it rewires their brains. And we just let everybody eat it. Now, there's Forbes. Scientists will create a new deadly flu strain just to prove they can. No, that's not why they're doing it. H1N1 was a simulant that they released the year before. This came out in the EU. This was declassified. I had the head of the EU program on. I had Steak Knife on and other British commandos who staged terror attacks to blame it on the IRA. And then one of them was killed the week after he was on. I had the DC madam on, and they killed her right after it. You know how many people I've had on they've killed? I'm not sitting here saying, oh, wow, Alex, you're amazing. That's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying most people could not handle what I can handle. And you know why I can handle it? Because I was a maniac before I knew all this stuff. And so I'm already crazy, folks. So, you know, what are they going to do to me? I get it. The average, and by crazy, you know, I'm already wild-minded enough and primitive enough that I can handle this stuff. The average person, I get it, cannot handle it. And that's why evil worldwide always takes over, because the average person just wants to go home and eat dinner and hang out with their kids and watch a movie, or go out and tend their sheep if it was 5,000 years ago, and they just want to go down and talk to the town elders and sit around and look at the sunset. I get it. You don't want to hear about what's happening off in Rome 1,000 miles away. if you, lived up in Austria. What's Austria today? The Austria Goths. But you better care because they're going to come and take your family and make you slaves. If you go back 2,000 plus years ago. 2,060 years ago. When Caesar's forces were taking over those areas. And so I know what they're doing. I sit here and I watch a real horror movie every day, a science fiction takeover with the robot cars and the robot aircraft, and they're openly in all the publications saying, again, I go back to one I've mentioned probably 500 times, Bill Joy, owner of Sun Microsystems, top engineer, says, I went to a globalist meeting with 200 and something top leaders, and we made the decision to kill everybody. We could just let you have fun and play in the future, but that hurts the environment. So, the consensus is we'll just get rid of humanity. And he put that in Wired magazine. Back in, 2000, the April issue. And it's so frustrating. I mean, it's so frustrating when it's just all a big game. Like yesterday I was driving home, and they had every trailer pulled over, almost causing wrecks everywhere, causing traffic in Austin, Texas. And by the time I saw a fifth white trailer pulled over, and motorcycle cops running around like it was the end of the world, and almost getting run over, and walking out in traffic and blocking people to chase down the next yellow Ryder trucks, white moving trucks, U-Hauls, big double trailers, semis pulling trailers. And, of course, the cops were told, I'm sure, we've got a Homeland Security tip. There could be a weapon. I don't think it was a drug tip because they were running around like they were saving the world. And, of course, they do that to get everybody used to just running random checkpoints. It's a drill. The cops don't even know it's a drill. I could tell by looking at them in the eyes in traffic, watching these crazed police in their cruisers pulling people over in unmarks and just freaking out all over Austin. Because I drove from work through it for like 45 minutes of traffic, watching it and dodging police. I personally saw them almost have 2 wrecks. And you go, why are you even bringing that up? It's just because I know how the programming works. The Threat Fusion Center tells them, we think there could be a truck bomb. I bet that's what it was. Or they thought it was a really big bust. Like, you're going to be famous when you find it. It's 100 kilos of cocaine. That some cowboy got through the border and didn't pay their cut to El Jefe. I mean, I don't know, but the way they were acting, they were told, we've got a terror threat, 5,000 pounds of plastic explosive. They're going to blow the Capitol up. I mean, I don't know, but in fact, can a cop call in, disguise your voice, maybe even tell the folks that answer the phone if you want to go on air what it was? Maybe I want to put you on air because I can tell if it's a cop in Austin. In fact, I wasn't going to open the phones up, but I do kind of want to know. Can somebody in Austin tell me what that was yesterday? It was like I don't know what you call it. It wasn't like a checkpoint where they shut the highway down. It was police on exit roads and the highway running around, looking in the back, slamming it and running, and then pulling out in traffic and running to the next white trailer. How many trailers there are? And they obviously didn't have a license plate number. They didn't have a general. They were pulling over orange ones, white ones, mainly white ones, and it was just ridiculous. Meanwhile, the government's run by people that put cancer viruses in almost all the vaccines on record. I mean, we're being murdered in mass, and Obama says a nuke is going to, go off in New York. That's his #1 fear. When there's missing nukes. And when the years before they had the cruise missiles that came up missing. Remember that? Oh, I bet he's worried. That would make his approval rating go from 30 points up to, 99. People be so scared in militant enthusiasm, primitive psychology. You get to attack the Russians or whoever you blame for it, the Iranians. You get to take liberties. You get to pose as a savior. They'll have Obama out there, on the blast zone edge saying, whoever did this is going to pay. And people will say, Alex, we know you said this was coming, but shut up about this on air. We're going to take you off the local stations. But I mean, when they do that, it won't even be that. When they set a nuke off, they'll just send a hit team over to kill me. Oh, Alex Jones was found dead in his car. He shot himself. He'd been depressed. Never, never will I kill myself. Never, 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 never. I don't particularly want to go through a bunch of pain if I ever get cancer or really sick, but to get the word out, I will accept Darth Vader level medical care.